Thanks to the magic of the internet, I'm joined by James Deen, who's sitting in a Los Angeles studio. James is a very prolific porn actor who has starred in more than 900 movies. That includes Batman XXX, a porn parody, and Naughty Rich Girls 3. So, James, I mentioned that I was interviewing you to colleagues and, even my mother, and they all knew your name. So it really seems that you've broke into the mainstream. People actually know your name. Everyone talks about you. How do you explain this success?
The best I can figure out from what I've been told by other other reporters that have interviewed me is what they hear from other people is that I'm just not your stereotypical dude in adult films. While you get most of these guys that are big muscle dudes with like tribal tattoos and really like going to the gym and stuff, then you get my little ass who's just like goofy and having fun and but I don't really know what it is, but I'm cool with it. I mean it's pretty awesome, but I try to operate under me just kind of having a good time and being myself and trying to and just being happy. So if that's what's creating this buzz, I'll enjoy the 15 minutes and continue to just do what I'm doing. And then when the 15 minutes ends, I'll continue to do what I'm doing and everything will be fine. So
I want to talk to you about Measure B. So Stoya, who's an on-screen partner of yours, has recently wrote for us a piece about Measure B, which is a law that was passed recently in Los Angeles County that makes it mandatory for porn actors to wear condoms on set for health and safety reasons. And she is against it, and I think that you're also against it. Can you explain why?
I'm personally against Measure B because it's a violation of the American Constitution and freedom of speech, freedom of expression. I have other reasons that I'm against it as well, but my primary concern about it is it violates my right as an American to be able to express myself and create content in whatever way I choose. Constitutionally, whether you call adult films art or not, constitutionally they're protected under the same thing that protects art and movies and any sort of form of entertainment or expression. Andy Warhol, for instance, he's made basically pornographic movies, but they're art. Now, if Andy Warhol was required to make somebody wear a condom in the movie that he was making, that would violate his freedom of expression and his ability to make his art in the way he chooses. Essentially, it's the same thing. Adult films are entertainment. Because of this, we are essentially stunt men and women engaging in stunt-style sex. When you watch a movie and someone's riding a motorcycle down staircases without a helmet and jumping over bridges and stuff, that's not real life. That is a trained professional operating extreme actions in a safe, controlled environment, or the safest, most controlled environment. That's essentially what we are. We are operating crazy sexual acts for the entertainment of our viewers, for the same as a stuntman riding that motorcycle. We're engaging in these crazy sexual stunts, if you will, and we're doing it in a controlled, safe environment. You add a piece of latex to it, and then when you end up, in theory, you're like, okay, cool, safer, let's do it, condom. But in actuality, condoms are intended for someone to have sex for about 10 to 12 minutes with an average-sized penis in a regular fashion, not a above-average-sized penis in these crazy sexual, stunts, if you will. So these crazy sexual stunts with an above-average-sized penis for anywhere from 30 minutes to up to 3-4 hours. That's not a condom's intended use. They're claiming to do something to benefit the community, but in actuality, the only community it affects is the adult film community, where we don't need it. We've had 0 HIV transmissions in almost 10 years. None. No one has that.
You seem to have a lot of female fans, which is quite unusual in porn. Do you think that you're doing the type of porn movies that actually appeal to female viewers?
I get asked stuff like that all the time, and to be honest, I don't really think that. I think the mentality of a type of film or a type of movie or something or a fantasy or whatever that is targeted towards female viewers, I think it's idiotic. sex is a personal thing, right? So every person, regardless, male, female, anybody, they're going to be turned on and interested in specific things that are tailored to themselves. So you're going to get some girls that are going to want to watch different movies. They're going to watch the really lovey-dovey, pretty stuff, and you're going to get some that want the really crazy, rough stuff, and everything in between. And, you got to remember that, the adult films there's no real market research about it. It's just kind of like throw it at the wall, see what works, and when something works, everybody does it. And so for the longest time, the adult film industry is, this is a male industry. It's movies made to arouse males. Males are visual creatures. They see something, they touch themselves, they're going to be aroused, woohoo. And now there's just, as far as like female sexuality comes more and more and more into like the mainstream and, just being a, more acceptable thing, which as messed up as it is, you think about it and
what do you make of critics who say that porn bleeds into real life and that it leads to the objectification of women who are not porn star women, like, everyone?
I think people that are saying that women are objectified by porn are people that objectify women. I've never thought that women get objectified by porn, and I don't consider myself as someone who objectifies women. When people start explaining to me how things objectify women, I'm like, well, why are you thinking that way? You obviously objectify women. Like, that didn't even occur to me.
Another question is that one of the most common criticism of the porn industry is that it's becoming more and more extreme because people can now just type pretty much whatever they want and find it. Do you find that it's the case, that it's becoming more and more extreme?
When I started, it was, they wanted the crazier, more insane, the biggest, the craziest, the most, bizarre things you could think of, that in DVDs, and they wanted to just go nuts, and they were pushing the envelope every step of the way. And then it kind of peaked, and it just seemed that people just didn't really care about it anymore, and they rather than, it was almost like I said, what happens is people do something, it'll work, and then everyone will jump on the train and try to get in on whatever's working, because there's no market research. But, so what ended up happening is, people got, all did that, and then they kind of realized that it doesn't really matter, and you can just make other types of content and sell that, so people just kind of started doing what they want, and the majority of adult film directors and producers don't want to produce, crazy, insane type things. They prefer, just watching two people in a passionate scene, get it on. But then for all the other ones that don't, they want that extreme stuff, they have that. So it's, it's good. You have a good plethora of pornography to choose from on the internet, and you can, there's something for everyone.